Hello and welcome to a new video from Martin. The person you will see in this video is real. Except me. I am AI generated, but I am okay with that. Now here is Martin. He is going to talk about how AI will replace radio and podcast hosts. I can't wait to hear what that is about. Maybe that is my future job.
Today, we're going to have a talk about how AI is going to take over the jobs of podcast hosts and perhaps people talking on radio and generating entire radio channels or streaming channels. If they aren't already, I don't know. I don't hear much radio anymore. But if from the other video, then hello, this is the explanation on how I made that video. And if you aren't, then there'll be a video afterwards where you can see the whole thing. So I was thinking, how about if you made your own radio channel or your own podcast series and you can actually automate that 100%? And I find that a little scary. I'm sure you've already seen some of all the AI slop on the internets, the YouTubes and whatever social media you are using. And I quite frankly hate it myself. I prefer when someone else, a real human, is in front of the camera or even just doing a voiceover. But I was thinking, how hard is that actually to do? So I tried to find some topic I thought was interesting, but keep in mind when I'm showing you this, it could be any topic really. It could be stamp collections, your favorite sports activity, politics, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But I chose something geeky, I guess. It was radiation. So I asked ChatGPT to make a top 50 fun facts about radiation, and then asked it to write one line for every fact. And then I started thinking, let's turn that into a podcast. So I asked it to expand it, take 10 of those facts and make like a 20, 30-minute episode of that. And then I fed that into a program site called Notebook LM, which is a Google product. And that was when I realized that now Simpsons predicted something else. There was an episode, let me show you. I'm not going to play that actual clip because copyright, even though it would be fair use, they are always asshats about it. So two DJs are sitting at the desk, and the DJ 3000 just talks about the weather in bland, broad terms and the the clowns in Congress. And I realize it's like some things never change, and that's kind of fun of it. And the joke was really, how does it know that, and how does it do that when it's just generic? Something stays the same, and the other guy says, don't praise the machine. But that's actually where we're at right now, that we can actually replace these two guys with a machine that can not only talk and say something that sounds interesting and engaging, like two people having a banter. We can also make AI music using an AI system. I showed you that with Sunu, and there's also other programs that can do that. You don't need much skills to actually just build your own system that you can enter a prompt and say, hey, I want 24 hours of a radio show with some people talking and some music in this style, and it should be about this and this and this, and then fire it off to all these different services, and they will create it for you. Most of them have APIs that are documented, and if you don't know what APIs is, it is that you can run a program on your local anemic slow computer, and you can ask those big cloud services to do the heavy lifting for you, and just sending them a command, make this for me and send it back to me. So a little bit of scripting, programming, which you can use ChatGPT for, and you should be able to build like 24 hours of content really cheaply and quickly. Video is still a little expensive, but that's, it's a matter of time before you'll be able to do that. So back to the screen. I'm not showing ChatGPT. You all guys already know that. I'll briefly show you Notebook LM from Google. So I took the entire script and fed it into this system, and you can provide web links, you can upload documentation to it, and then you can ask it to make like a short, medium, long podcast about it. And I just tried to test it, and it will not play it right now. It seems to have expired already, but I saved it. So I will go straight ahead to the next step. And the next step here is, it is not this one, it is this one. Descript.com, and this is a web-based video editor, and I'm going to feed all of this video into Descript.com and have it tighten it up. When I'm recording this, I'm sometimes cutting out big mistakes I make, but I will ask this to cut it up a bit if needed, so it's flowing faster or whatever. So let me know, did you see any weird cuts? Did it do anything at all to this video that you noticed? What Descript can do is a lot of things. I won't go into all the details, but when you upload a video, when you upload a audio file, it automatically do a transcription of it all, and it uses that transcription to help you edit it, and that is really interesting. So I'm just going to play a bit of that podcast I made, so you just can hear a snippet of it. And this part, I think it's interesting about how airplane personnel, flight attendants and airline pilots are actually considered as radiation workers because of the radiation they get when they're flying.
For pilots, cabin crew, their accumulated dose over a year, because they spend thousands of hours at altitude, is substantial enough that in Europe, for example, they're officially classified as radiation workers.
Really? Like someone working at a nuclear facility?
In terms of monitoring requirements, yes, their exposure is tracked. Now, this doesn't mean flying is dangerous for passengers. The risk from one trip or even several trips a year is extremely low.
Okay, that's reassuring.
Right, I just realized, well, that's kind of interesting, isn't it? I just realized you couldn't see my detector. Maybe not, you didn't maybe see it. There it is. Anyway, so the voices were Notebook LM, and if you haven't heard, you can try it. It doesn't cost anything. So I entered it uploaded it to this Descript.com, and it did the whole video editing. It added this animation of the transcription and the bars down here, and I added a background to it. I won't talk too long about this specific program. As I said, I'm going to edit this program, and I'm also going to have some fun creating clips with it, because you can ask it to traverse the entire transcription, and then you can say, describe the goal and criteria to find the best clips. And then you can, for example, say, I want to make a short video about how line personnel radiation workers in the EU. Underlord is starting working, which is like their AI, and it will come up with what it thinks it will be the most interesting bit. You can also ask it to do something so you don't have to do the actual editing again.
In Europe, for example, they're officially classified as radiation workers.
Really? Like someone working at a nuclear facility?
In terms of monitoring requirements, yes, their exposure is tracked. Now, this doesn't mean flying is dangerous for passengers.
Did you know bananas are radioactive? You can hear all of that in the podcast. I'm also going to upload that.
Surprisingly, that banana is maybe your first, most unexpected source of everyday radiation.
Anyway, this is not about Descript. What I think is really interesting is how you can make all of these things. And even though I'm not much of a programmer, I think I could make a program that would call APIs at these companies and then make this into a 24-hour stream.
It really challenges art right off the bat.
Doesn't it?
It does. And it's a really powerful way to start because it highlights something fundamental. Potassium essential for life, right?
Yeah, you need it.
Well, potassium itself inherently has a radioactive component. Bananas are packed with potassium, we all know that. But a tiny specific fraction of that potassium, naturally, is an isotope called potassium-40.
So my question to you is, would you listen to this show about radiation? I actually find the content interesting. I'm going to upload the video, but these are not real beings, and they do make some mistakes. The voice generation makes some few programming mistakes, and let me know if you catch those if you watch the full show. So anyway, that's the video for today. I don't need to make it any longer than it needs to be. 10 minutes already. It's way too long. I hope that this script will cut it down a bit so it's not as long, but basically that's what I did. Took the audio file, uploaded it to Descript. You can also just keep it as an audio file, but I've kind of wanted to make it, let's just keep those and go back to the project. Anyway, so that's it. Yeah, I find it kind of scary that we can you do that. Now, if you also listen to this text it made up, I tried to make it Denmark-centric, but it does make some weird calls about houses, how you build houses and stuff like that. It's more like sounds they're putting an American style or culture and just change something to Denmark or the AI.
For ourselves to function.
Right.
So it's like
Contributors.
anyway.
Let's tackle energy production. This is often where radiation fears really kick in, but prepare yourself, because the next point might just completely flip your perception of which energy source, coal or nuclear, is actually the more radioactive in day-to-day operation.
And for that, you have to listen to the other video. There'll be a link everywhere for that video in a little bit. If it's not there right now, it'll be there tomorrow. That's all for this video. I hope you got something out of it. I sure found this interesting, a little scary also, because as I said, I do prefer have regular people on actually making the videos, even with the mistakes they made. That's all today. Next time, have fun on the interwebs, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, blah, 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 down below. Cheers. See you around. Bye-bye.